Imagine if we began to think about our agencies and centers of care in this way. If we began our staff meetings with a discussion of all the possible combinations of bodies, the capacities inherent in our settings, including the richness of capacity that is the children and youth, the neighborhood, the plant life, the animal life, the flow of life into and out of the institution. What if we began to see care as an interdependent bringing together of all elements in our environment, and if we began to think consciously about mingling of human and non-human form as a platform for experimentation? If we broke down the rigid distinctions between staff and youth, neighborhood and agency, male and female, gay and straight, our racial and ethnic identities, not so much to abandon them, but so as to open them to experiment, to see what bodies can do together. So much of what we do is driven by a sense of lack. We begin with the idea that there is a need. In other words, we assume lack from the very beginning. We accept that the children and youth who come to us have a need that is unfulfilled. I am reminded of the story of Michael Lewis as told in the film The Blind Side. In the film, Michael is portrayed as a desperately needy foster child who is taken in by a wealthy white family and given the resources and the opportunities to become a pro football player. It's a powerful story and one that validates for many of us as child and youth care workers our mission to help the needy by providing the missing elements of their lives. Recently, however, Michael Lewis wrote his own story and then went on a speaking tour. In his own story, he points out that there was something crucial missing from the account given in the movie. What was missing, he said, was the drive that he always had to both survive and take advantage of every opportunity presented to him. If we became interested in the drive to creatively become what Michael is describing, then the primary question becomes, in what way might we create institutions that enhance the powers of each body rather than producing self-valorizing systems that only reproduce themselves through the capture of other bodies? In other words, how might we organize the composite body that is a residential facility as a space of maximum experimentation in both thought and action? The psychoanalyst and artist Bracha Ettinger suggested that one model for this kind of work might be found in the womb and not the phallus. In the womb, Ettinger contends that there is a continual process of border crossing. This border crossing and its productive effects is what she calls metamorphosis. She defines this as a process in which limits, borderlines, and thresholds conceived are constantly transgressed or dissolved, thus allowing the creation of new ones. This metamorphosis has no capacity for domination. It's the co-creative process of mutual transformation and becoming. It does not create any one subject, but what Ettinger calls subjectivity in severality. What this means is that in the process of the emerging subject, we are never one, but always composed of a multitude of virtual selves in constant generativity in the border space that is modeled in the womb, but persists in all living relations. This model, premised not in the distinctions of the phallus, but on the borderland of the womb, might well offer a different model for care that is founded on capacity, mutuality, and the creative force of life itself.